All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video, and this is something a little different. As you know, guys know, I try and do at least one podcast a week these days, and I thought, why not have two of my good friends on with me to do it? And joining me is Kenny. Firstly, Kenny Ken. Say hello to the people, Kenny.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're on, like I said, working your nuts off to sort of obey the government's instructions, and you're finding things to do. I know, working from home must be a murder at the moment for a lot of people, and not being able to go for a run, meet your friends, go to the gym, take things for granted. So, but let's all stick together and just count the days till we can all get together and watch Arsenal.
Yeah. I amen to that. I agree with that completely. And also joining me, you should know his voice by now. Never mind his face. That's Claude. Say hello to the people, Claude.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me on, Chris. It's very nice of you to have me on, and I hope everyone is keeping nice and safe.
Yes, agreed. Okay, so I thought I'd get you guys on because there are a couple of things I wanted to talk about in terms of things that are happening in Arsenal. And for everyone who has come into the chat room, thank you guys so much. Chris New, I see you. Evan, I see you. Please do stick a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to talk to you about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, I know he's a lively topic of discussion sometimes in our WhatsApp group chat. And we've had various different discussions on it. Let me start with you, Claude. What's your feeling? I mean, did you watch, first of all, his Insta Live video clip from yesterday?
Yeah, I think there's a little chat between the boys. I think didn't really give that much away for me. Listen, what can you say? I mean, at this present moment, we don't even know whether we're going to be starting a football. Whenever we're going to start a football season again.
True.
So, we could become this time next year still waiting for another game. We don't know.
True.
And so that's you've got to look at that. And also with the money that's going to be lost by clubs, will the value of the player go down? And this is another thing we've got to look at. Will his value go down? So in that respect, if his value is that low, is it better? You might as well just keep him until the end. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it in the first place, but now to replace him with the little money that is going to be available, it will be difficult, and then we're in trouble, aren't we? So it's a difficult one. There's no real right or wrong answer to this, really. It's a difficult one to be honest with you. It's a very difficult one to answer because at the moment we don't even know when the next game of football is going to be played. So without wanting to know whether a player is staying or going, I don't know what Kenny feels. I know.
Yeah.
No, well,
how do you feel about it, Kenny Ken?
Well, I look at the situation. I only seen extracts of the exchange between him and Prince Whiting, and all I can say is that it's a question that you got no answer to. You can't say yes, I'm definitely staying when you've got a year ahead of your contract, especially when the powers to be at the football club have said that they're never going to let themselves get in the situation that we got with Aaron Ramsey, where we allowed him to run down his contract. That is something that the powers to be have promised the fans that wouldn't happen. So, Aubameyang is looking at the situation. He doesn't know what's going to happen this season, whether the season is going to be voided or we're going to be playing behind closed doors. But it's highly unlikely, regardless of whether we play football again, whether we'll be getting into European places as well. The guy's 30 years old. He has to think of his career. But I do want to take up a point that Claude made, which was very interesting. The first point he made about it is that we don't know where he is. But another thing he's made a point as well, which is very interesting, is that there's going to be a financial hit, which is going to hit football for six. And the only people who are going to make money out of football's difficulties is insurers. Because no footballer and no football club is insured for this kind of situation. And I think what's happening is going to affect football for many years thereafter, because you now know you've got to have player insurance on terms of like things like coronavirus, and you've got to have club insurance. And the Premier League, so does Sky. So basically, what's happened is that is everyone's interest in order to prevent insurance premiums going up, that we do finish this league one way or another. Now, a lot of match-going fans will think, well, that leaves me out. But you've got to think of the bigger picture. You know, the way we are feeling now, that we've got no football entertainment ever. Our beggars can't be choosers. Do we say void the season because match-going fans can't go to the games, or we say, well, hang on here, we're only a minority here. What about all the fans around the world who can't get to the football ground? Do we just play behind closed doors? And then, even if we don't hear crowd noise, let's just get it over and get it done with. But in terms of like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he has to think of his career. He's 30 years old. You know, he's given us some good 3 years, excellent 3 years, by the way. But you know, he has to choose a big club than Arsenal will ever be, and they'll be in the Champions League. And you know, there's a high likelihood that he could be the catalyst to them getting into the Champions League final and probably winning it again. So he has to weigh it up. What does the question we have to ask everyone is, one, what is Arsenal offering its top stars in terms of the ability to win trophies and get in the Champions League? You have to ask. You have to be honest with your answers.
Yeah, you've only got to look at Harry Kane's interview today. I mean, about everyone thought he'd never leave Spurs, but did you hear what he said? My priority is to win the Premier League trophy. Never mind about where I'm staying or going.
So if he wants to stay in London, Harry Kane's going to want to go. Yeah,
there's no such thing as I'm going to stay here for the love of the football club, mate. It's about winning. Staying. Listen, if a player wasn't, and I'd be worried if a player wasn't ambitious, to be honest with you, because if he's just staying, I'm happy here just to stay here and plod along and be the best player in the team, but not worried about winning things, and I'd be more worried about that. So, that's how I look at it. That's how I would look at it. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But as I say, you know what? I don't think we can answer any of this because, as I say, the way things are going, I mean, we could be here next year, the same time here next year, waiting for the next game, and we could. We could be competing this season, next season in April. We could be competing the season then. That's another fault.
The thing is called. Sorry to cut in, but the thing we've got to look at as well is that our behavioural habits, especially at football, are going to be affected. Now, you got 60,000 seat stadium at Arsenal, you've got 61,000 at Spurs, you've got 75,000 at Man United. Now, and Liverpool got about 55,000, 56,000. Now, we're talking about safe distancing here. What makes people think that we're going to go back to having those sort of crowds at football? I mean, are we going to go to reduced capacities or temporary reduced capacities? Because if you're asking for spaced distancing, you're not just going to say, right, it's June, everything back to normal. You can't do that. We all got to be tested. Yeah. Every adult who has got to be tested. That means myself, you, and Claude get to be tested. So that's going to take a few months. So we may be in a situation, if we do have football, we're going to firstly have closed doors. Then we're going to have partial attendances where, you know, they may say, right, only season ticket holders or club members are going to go in, and then they're going to throw it that way because they're going to want to make some space and leave some space to ground to keep everything safe. And that, so it's one of those things that football's never going to be the same again for a good few years. And I think it's not, because the end of the day, football's not immune to what's going to happen in the economy. You're going to have a situation where we're going to have austerity measures in this country. We're going to have situations where we're borrowing money, because all that money that Sunak has promised, that is money that he's borrowing from other countries. That 350 billion, that bill's got to be paid back. So public sector workers may have a situation where they're going to have to cut jobs. private sector people, businesses may not take the risk of employing new people or making investments. So football's not immune from that. And we've mentioned the insurance premiums that are going to go up, where insurers are going to make a killing. And, transfer fees, as Claude mentioned, is very interesting because, clubs are going to be choosing.
There's no way we're going to get 60 million for it.
We're not talking someone like the guy, Parish at Crystal Palace. He's got no chance of even trying to get sell Zaha for 80 million. It's not going to happen because clubs can't afford it.
Yeah. I don't think you guys are wrong. I mean, I don't know if you noticed on our group chat we're having this discussion today about does it matter about whether the season continues or gets cancelled or not. I mean, I'd like to see it continue if it was possible, but only if it was possible and it was safe.
Yeah, but Chris, I think we've got to give, and I think in my mind, we've got to give Liverpool and all the other teams that are competing the possibility, the chance to finish the season off. We've got to give them that chance. I don't think we should be rushing to cancel it. We've got to give that chance. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But we'll at least give it that chance, because it's all very well people say, and I'm hearing this is what I say about our fan base in particular on social media. Oh, avoid the season. And most of them, if it was us, they wouldn't be saying that. And I'm telling you that now, they wouldn't be saying it. And I think, and it's about time we don't have one mind and thinking of one thing. We've got to think as football fans in general. Yeah, Liverpool have deserved their 25 points clear, and they deserve to finish the season off, right? And you know what? And even if it goes to October, November, they deserve to go through it. And then
100%.
And then we continue, and then we have a short. And you know what? They can use the break now, because at the moment everyone said they're going to have a break in between the seasons. Well, they don't need a big break because they're having a big break now as it is. So while they're in a big break, enjoy the break now, innit?
Yeah, they don't need it. Yeah,
I think what it is called, I think what you're trying to say is that there's a school of thought amongst Arsenal fans that think that people like you can't. It's Arsenal fans. It's like you can only be a true Arsenal fan if you hate Spurs. You can only be a true Arsenal fan if you hate Liverpool, and you want Liverpool to be avoided. So, despite the fact that all of us collectively spent years of watching our football clubs and getting passionate about it, we can only be Arsenal fans. We can't be football fans. You know what I mean? I mean that I find that an insult, because at the end of the day, I'm a football fan as well as an Arsenal fan.
Exactly.
And I like the competition, and I think that I have a right to admire any player that plays at any club, be it Spurs or anyone else, because that's my choice. I don't want to be part of your group or your little gang where you're telling me how to be a true Arsenal fan. Don't you tell me how to be a true Arsenal fan. I've been doing this since the 1970s. Yeah, I've been doing this for 41 years. You know what I mean, Claude? 41 years I've been an Arsenal fan. And for about 20, nearly 25 years of that, I've been a season ticket putting money at this football club. So don't you dare come up and tell me that I'm not a true Arsenal fan because I do fan cams or because of some fictitious stuff I was interested in when I didn't do anything. How dare you even tell me I'm not a true Arsenal fan, because I'm not going along with your crap to besmirch Liverpool's rightful ascendance to the throne of the Premiership. It's fair and square.
A true Arsenal fan is one that concentrates on his own team, right? And doesn't dance for joy and embarrass themselves when Liverpool's unbeaten run ended, and embarrass themselves as if it's the biggest celebration going. When you look at your own bloody team in your situation, you're all dancing about as if it's a bloody great achievement. But let me tell you the biggest myth about this bloody unbeaten run, right? The biggest myth, right? The biggest myth is I would have sacrificed 3 or 4 defeats in that unbeaten run, right, to win that Champions League that year.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I don't know what's happened here. Right. I would have given it. Right. I would have given that 3 or 4 to win it. Because at the end of the day, it's just it's a title. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Liverpool lost one game and lost less games last season than Man City and didn't win it. You know, you can go unbeaten in the season and not win the title. So is that an achievement? No, of course it's not. The achievement is the amount of points you get at the end of the season, the most amount of points you get at the end of the season, right? So don't give it all that. Oh, they're not unbeaten anymore. Oh, dance for joy when we're 45 points behind.
I know.
45 points behind.
I said that on my Twitter. On the same day, I was like, if you told me I had an opportunity to exchange this one unbeaten season, keep the title, but one unbeaten season for Liverpool's success right now, where they've won a Champions League last year, they're about to win the Premier League this year. It wouldn't even be a discussion. I'd be like, yeah, cool. Where do I sign? And to me, I feel like people that kind of hold it. And believe me, I have more annoying Liverpool fans as friends. I have so many friends who are Liverpool fans, and they give me crap all the time. But they deserve it this season. 100%.
Chris, can I just cut in? Right?
See my point, Chris.
Yeah, but can I just cut in?
Oh, sorry.
Let me tell you something, right? The truth, not the myth. The truth. The myth is that Liverpool fans are the most hated. The truth is, we're the most hated Arsenal fans. We're the most despised. We annoy every other fan. We're the ones that everyone takes the mickey out of. Yes, it's because of the fan cams that Rob is involved in, but that's only a fraction of it. We are hated because we feel we are entitled. All right. When we fought amongst ourselves over, whether Arsene Wenger should be replaced or not, that was sport for talk sport for other fans, sport for Sky Sports, for everyone. We were the ones who would have laughed this stocks. The fact that we felt entitled because we played this beautiful football that everyone else was like in awe of Chelsea and Man City's expense, but us fans were, that's a bit. Oh, we can do it a bit better. Their success don't mean nothing because they spent money, financial doping. Oh, come on, get over it.
And to Akin there in the chat room, who keeps saying banter is part of being a fan. Banter normally comes from a point of strength. Who are we to look at anyone and say, you're a loser? Have you looked at our results recently? And that's where I think we're coming from. Before you start laughing at other people, maybe have your own house in order. And we are very far away from having our own house in order to start bantering anybody. Least of all Liverpool.
But we're only bantering ourselves, mate. We're only bantering ourselves, these idiots. We're only bantering ourselves because we're 45. Look how stupid you look. You're bantering the club that you're 45 points behind. Embarrassing. You're embarrassing.
I agree. Honestly, I don't understand.
Yeah, but the thing about it, right, is that, like I said, what we've had right now is that we have, in the last few years, maybe 3 or 4 years, we have a like I said, a life form amongst the football club of fans who genuinely believe they are better than every other fan. They genuinely believe that because they don't rank, that they go and they actually have an edict of what a supporter should be. That's a load of rubbish. There's no such thing as how a supporter should behave. You all have your own individual supporter experience, and in fact, the matter is, there's not even club values. That's rubbish as well. What? There's no club values. There's a club motto, but it doesn't mean they're values. So a lot of Arsenal fans who think they're better than everyone else make it as they go along. I mean, one of those fans who think they're better than everyone else did an article for the Sun. Yeah, he's one of the group of people who thinks he's better than everyone in this group. You know what I mean?
To me, all this idea that we're a fan and you should be allowed to banter. To me, it just makes you look silly because do you know what? This is probably a poor example, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's like watching someone fat talking about someone who's fat. It's like, have you looked at yourself lately? Like it just, I don't know why you would. To me, it's insane to say, oh, well, I'm a fan, so I'm allowed to banter. then go ahead and banter. But it makes you look foolish.
All very well, Chris. It's all very well to banter if you're in a better position than that team in the start. But when you're 45 points, do you know how stupid you look?
Yeah,
do you know how stupid you look on the rest of the country? Do you know how stupid you look?
I totally
You're bantering a team and you're 45 points behind.
But you know, they counter that. If you want to banter, go ahead, do what you like, but don't expect everyone to follow your stupid lead. You know what I mean? Do what you like.
You're not a real Arsenal fan unless you do the same thing.
If you want to be with our friend, then fine. Go and have your little drinks in your little pubs near the Grand, whatever pubs you like to go to. Stick to your little friends. Stick to your little WhatsApp groups and do what you have to. But we don't have to follow suit. We don't wear a uniform. I stopped wearing school uniform nearly 30 years ago when I stopped going to my secondary school in Archway. You know what I mean? Just support the club how you want, but just don't try and interfere in other people's supporters' experience. I wish people would just practice that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry if I've upset anyone tonight, but this is the way I am. I say what I feel when I'm, you know, and all I care about is our football club getting back. So
exactly.
Agreed. And 45 points is a long way to come back. It's a long way. But anyway,
another thing with our fans, we think our players are better than what they are. I think we judge our players as certain players. They think they're better than what they earn. The truth of the matter is that some of these players we've got in our squad, I'm sorry to say, are championship level. In my opinion, it's only in my opinion. And if we don't,
Claude, it's never the players though. It was never the players. It was all really nice football. It's all nice football. Arteta's man to get the best out of them now, isn't he? Arteta's this Messiah who's going to get the best out of him. But the fact of the matter is that Mikel Arteta is finding the same problems with some of these players that his predecessor found. You know, it's a worst kept secret that he's looking to overhaul the squad. That Mr. Nice Guy who gave everyone sweets is now thinking, you know what, this is about to go. Because the reason I'm saying, because I've been watching Sultan Amazon, you know, about the Australian cricket team where Justin Langer, I don't know if you're a cricket fan, Chris, but me and Claude are cricket fans. But you know, Justin Langer, he took over the Australian cricket team from Darren Lehmann after the ball tampering scandal with in South Africa in 2018. And what was happening is Australia, when he first started, they had a one-day international tournament with England where they got absolutely thrashed. Justin Lang was giving everyone sweets. In the end, he went, no more Mr. Nice Guy. He told them a few home truths. And I think that Mick Arteta's looked at the situation and looked, you know what? This guy, this team, he's not going to bring us success. Doesn't matter whether I'm the coach tonight. He hasn't got the time to teach old dogs new tricks, or dogs, you know, donkeys who don't know what to do, who won't drink in a well, to get them to drink at the well. So it's self-explanatory. We have a massive depth of lack of quality at the football club. That is just, you know what I mean. We need to shore up, get another right back. We got a central half is self-explanatory. We need another striker. Another striker, and we need someone in midfield who can go box to box. Worst kept secret, you know what I mean? So it's a we're building job. So for people to say we've got our Arsenal back, it's quite premature because, you know, we're one result from everyone calling for Mikel's head.
Yeah, anyway, let's move this on. Let's talk about another touchy subject. Mr. Cesc Fàbregas. This is another one that set off our group chat the other day with his comments. This one really had us split in our own group chat. I was completely with you, Kenny Ken, I must admit, in the sense that I don't hate him, but also, who are you kidding? And funny enough, when I brought it to the show were really like, why are you getting so annoyed by this? And to me, I think my whole thing was, why is it all of a sudden he decided to do a podcast and decided that this was the time he was going to all of a sudden explain why he made the move in the first place, then came back. And then he decided to make all these comments about how him and Van Persie and Nasri were the only ones on a certain level. And then obviously Sanya yesterday had his own say on that, saying that,
anyway. Chick, he's a bullshit anyway, because he said I would never play for Chelsea. He said that. I remember when he was
true.
He ended up playing for him. So he's a bullshitter. And I don't, to be honest with you, he's bullshitting. Cesc Fàbregas left Arsenal because he saw the big opportunity at Barcelona. Simple as that.
Just say it.
It's as simple as that. He even refused to train. He refused to go. He went to Monaco when he was supposed to be with the squad as a club captain. His responsibility, even if he's in, is to be with the squad, and he wasn't with it. I think it was Fulham. Fulham last.
That's right. He was at the Barcelona Grand Prix.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, Monaco, wasn't it? Monaco.
No, it was at the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona.
Right.
He was there.
All right. Yeah, and exactly. And then all that carry on with the Liverpool keeper. What was his name? Reina. With the Spanish camp. That was disgusting as well. I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to this shit between me. I think it's a load of crap he's coming out with, and it's very disrespectful to the players as well at Arsenal Football Club. It's very disrespectful.
Another thing as well, it's very apt that you mentioned those two other players. Now, Robin van Persie, he's another person who has a sort of 26-mile difference between himself and the truth as well. He's another proclaimed liar, an absolute liar.
I wasn't offered a contract.
Which was a lie as well. But the fact that matters is that the other player, the only person
the little boy in me told me.
The only player that actually told the truth out of all of them was Nasri. And Nasri only told the truth because he was getting routinely booed by Arsenal fans. And his words were, I am not an Arsenal fan. I've done everything I could for the club, but I decided to move on and take another challenge, which is the truth. And that is something that Robin van Persie did. And so, there's nothing wrong with them saying that the players were not good enough and I wanted a new challenge. We don't have to say that. But to go and try and go on sort of a PR exercise of Arsenal on an Arsenal podcast, which everyone seems to be respected, where everyone says they respect us, so everyone thinks that podcast respected, and fine, it's respected. But to try and sugarcoat your behaviour it's just pure fantasy. Facts one, right? And this is the biggest fact, which Cesc Fàbregas has never told the truth about. And I hope he does that when he's on his deathbed. Your first choice when you left Barcelona was Chelsea. It was not Arsenal. Can you stop saying that Arsene Wenger did not want you? It's an outright lie. Cesc Fàbregas wanted to go to Chelsea, and rightly so, because Chelsea had the chance of winning the title. Nothing wrong with that. But stop lying. We don't. I don't care if you want to go to Chelsea. That's your choice. It's your career. But don't try and be like I said, a man for all seasons, kissing a Chelsea badge when you need to practice you're entitled to do as well.
Actually, it would have been great for the fans as well, because it would have really got the fans, and it would have put Wenger on the spot at the time. If he really meant that at the time, he should have come out of it with it at the time. About the only three players, and then it might have hit home. It's no good telling us that now, is it? Why didn't you say it at the time if that's what you really felt? That's why I think it's bullshit.
Yeah,
but it's just like, well, you got to remember, Claude. He's gone on an Arsenal podcast where there's, like they promoted this. I wouldn't be. I never listen. I haven't listened to it anyway. But I would be very, very surprised if he wasn't. If the questioning wasn't. The questioning was very passive and non-confrontational.
Yeah.
Because they got him on. Because I've seen a lot of podcasts where they've basically made a big show of getting a footballer on, and then when you see it, it's one of the biggest stamp scoops ever.
Questions, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the only person who seems to you can actually be confrontational with is Kevin Campbell. All the rest of them, it's just a waste of time. It's like every podcast seems to placate an ex-player's ego, which fine. If you want him to come on your podcast again, fine, great respect. But Cesc Fàbregas needs to stop lying, stop being a liar, tell the truth, move on with your life. You know, enjoy the fact you play for Chelsea, you play for Arsenal, Barcelona, and enjoy your career. Don't try and be something you're not. You're not a man for all seasons.
It's like people it's like people in the media, in the social media, go on about don't buy the Sun, and then they're working for them. Anyway, let's move on.
But no, yeah, I agree. I think I don't quite hate him as much as Claude does. But
it's not hate, but I don't like bullshit.
Yeah. Look, Cesc is probably one of the best players we've ever had. He's had a fantastic career for both Spain and the clubs he's played with. And he's won the lot. The only thing that eluded him was the Champions League. But, you know, he's won the World Cup. He's won the European Championships twice. He's won titles at Chelsea and Barcelona. He's had a glittering career, and he deserves every respect as a footballer. But please, you don't need to talk numbers. Stop talking, Cesc. Just stop talking. Just talk about present situations. Don't talk about Arsenal. Just shut up. Button it. You know what I mean, Cesc?
Yeah, I agree. I just think footballers, for some reason, have this. They feel like they need this platform to exonerate themselves when they've had a dodgy move. You know, Ashley Cole did the same. I remember back in the day. RVP did the same, and it's always Arsenal players for some reason. It's like, I don't care. Like whatever. I'd rather you were just honest and say, listen, I wanted to move. I wanted to move to Chelsea because they could win me a Premier League title.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
It is what it is.
Them. I applaud any player. If you're an Arsenal player, right, and you've worked your nuts off for the football club, then I wish you the best for the future. And I wish you every success in any club you go to, because you've actually deserved it. You know what I mean? And that's the fact of the matter is that I'm not an idiot. I know for a fact that this is not the 1980s. We ain't going to have a Tony Adams. We're not going to. There's not going to be no Tally Adams. There's not going to be no Paynes. There's not going to be no like, how do I say it? There's going to be no Steve Perrimans. You know, all these old players who are virtually one club men. There's not going to be a Ryan Giggs, a one club man, or Matt Letizia. It's just not going to happen for simple reasons that footballers are more ambitious, and to be honest, they should be. You should want to be the best player in your position. You should want to play for your national side. You should want to win trophies. It's a short career and a short life. Football's only a small part of your life, you know. And you should be able to tell your grandchildren that I've won trophies like the World Cup, the Champions League, and the League Championship, and European Championships. You should be able to show you. And Cesc is going to show his grandchildren all those things he's won. And congratulations to Cesc. And to any player like RVP's won trophies, Nasri's won trophies with Man City. Congratulations. Fine. Excellent. You don't owe us an explanation, but you are annoying fans like myself when you embellish the truth. Just shut up. Shut up.
Ryan asked an interesting question. That's why I've left it up there. He asked, do you think that it's a dodgy debate, but do you not think that Thierry Henry did the same sort of thing?
I'll leave that one to Claude. That's Claude's question.
The difference is Thierry Henry gave us 8 years and gave us the league titles and contributed to winning league titles.
Yeah, no one begrudged Thierry from moving, really. He
delivered for the club in 8 years, and not being funny, he's not. All right, he loves Arsenal, but he's not an Arsenal. He's not born and bred into the Arsenal. Yeah. He come from Juventus, and he played for. Before that, was it Monaco? Before Juventus, wasn't it Monaco? And so he spent 8 years here, which is quite a lot of years when you think about it, for a player that's not actually come from the Arsenal system.
Yeah, another thing, Claude.
He won us titles. and you can't compare it. What did Cesc? I mean, all right, the FA Cup, all right, but what else?
No, of course, you've got a good point, and the thing about it is that you've got a good point. The fact of the matter is that one thing about Thierry as well. Thierry Henry, you got to remember, we sent Thierry Henry to Barcelona with where he basically, because he was playing so many games back to back for us, we sent a half-pace Thierry Henry to Barcelona. Thierry Henry ran himself into the ground for the football club.
Yeah.
So because when he went to Barcelona, he had to adjust his game because he lost a bit of his pace.
Also,
Yeah, definitely.
He had to adjust to like doing things Lionel Messi.
Yeah, and another thing is what he helped got us out of the hole as well in 2012 as well when we were struggling for strikers. So you know what I mean?
Well, we got us out a couple of games. I mean, what did he? I mean, I know what you're saying. It was just a bit of a sentimental return. It was like a testimonial, really, wasn't it? I mean, to be honest,
I know there was limbs though when he scored against Leeds. I know you broke a rib or two.
Yeah, it was great, but what did we do? We went out the next fucking round.
We lost to Stoke.
With all due respect, if we would have gone on to the FA Cup and won the FA Cup, I would have said great, fantastic. But it was just like one of these fairy tale stories that happen. He comes back and then he goes.
Sorry to take over your show, but there's a good friend of ours who's a big fan of all of us, Marble Halls. He's challenged what we got to say, so we got to take what he's saying because Marble Halls is saying he's defending Francesc. He said that Cesc delivered to Cesc peaked when we had deep players, and he's mentioned that Thierry had players like Bergkamp, Omars, Petit, Vieira, and that's the thing, mate. You're 100% right. Francesc was a fantastic servant for the football club, and knows begrudging what he said. The only problem we have with Francesc is that. It's the narrative. It's the way he left, but the narrative always seems to change, depending on his audience. And I think what's happening is that he's reopening old wounds, and we want to move on from that season, and he's not letting us move on.
Yeah, I agree. I've been defending personally Cesc for a while, just because I get wanting to move to Barcelona. I don't like the way he did it, but I get wanting to move to Barcelona. But even if you take those two cases, right? Thierry, everyone knows Thierry wanted to leave after the Champions League final. But Wenger begged him to stay that year. He stayed that year. It was so by chance that he didn't play very much that following season because he had an injury. And then he left to go to Barcelona. That's the way we do it. You don't do it by, I'm going to have a strop and then go to the Monaco Grand Prix when you're supposedly injured, but you're walking around fine, like you don't have a care in the world. Then he played that friendly. I will never forget his face in that friendly season. And I just thought to myself, you're the captain. You are the captain. You're the leader. And then when you want to go to Chelsea, the team that you supposedly never play for the manager you will never ever play for, I would rather you just turn around and say, listen, I know what I said before. I'm just going to be real. Arsenal are still in my heart. Say whatever extra crap you need to say. But just say, listen, I've always wanted a Premier League title. Chelsea are one of the teams that are in the best position to do that for me. I'm going to go there and do that. I would have been like, all right, cool, fair play. No, at least you're being real about it. Not put some sentimental crap on it years later, trying to explain that, I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, but circumstances wouldn't let me, or this person wouldn't let me, or these players weren't good enough. No, that's excuses. That's excuses to me. Just be honest.
What with Thierry Henry? Sorry.
No.
Delay here. I'm interrupting you. Sorry, there seems to be a delay on this, and it's by accident I'm doing it. No, with Thierry Henry, the only reason I think he stayed that year was to do with the Emirates opening. I don't think they wanted to open the Emirates without Henry there. Maybe I'm being cynical. Maybe the extra year. That's how I see it. But because after that, because I don't. if you look at his body language that year, he wasn't very good, was he? Wasn't really into it, was he?
And Claude, we paid him 200 grand a week.
Yeah, but also, to keep him because they needed his stature there. The opening because Bergkamp had retired, and they needed someone to be there of his stature to be there with the opening of the Emirates. And I don't care what anyone says. That's how I see it. Because if you notice his body language that season, to be honest with you, his body he didn't really want to be there, did he? Let's be honest. That season.
I think he was getting a lot of injuries, and to be honest, during that season, I think Manu Adebayor was coming into his own anyway, and Van Persie when he was fit was coming into his own. So we were trying to move away from Thierry, and Barcelona was very much. I don't think Thierry would have coped with Barcelona very much. So Barcelona probably wouldn't be.
There's no doubt about it. He is a class actor. He'll always remain a class. I'm just saying that was maybe the time for him to leave was probably there. He wanted to go, and I think he would have been better that we. But it's only in hindsight because that season we got the best out of him.
You know what? Ben brings up an interesting point. How do you think about if Aubameyang leaves this year? Let's say the season's played under closed doors and Aubameyang leaves this year. How do you think he'll be remembered?
Understanding. I think. I can only speak for myself. Understanding, because you can only do so much. He's done everything he could. He was the top goal scorer in his first full season. He's going to be top scorer now. He's playing what people think he's playing out of position. Personally, I think where he's playing is where he should be playing because for the good of the side, because he can't hold. He's giving Arsenal everything. He owes Arsenal nothing. You know what I mean? He'll go with my best wishes and big luck. At the end of the day, Pierre needs to win the big trophies. He's only 30 years old. You can't waste your last couple of prime years at Arsenal. For him to stay at Arsenal, as much as I love the football club, but yeah, you've got a duty of care to the players who've actually put their heart in. And my duty of care to Pierre is don't waste your years with us. We're all wasting time. We're in transition. We're not going to win you trophies. Not going to win you the league, and we're not going to. We're going to find it very difficult with the top four. All you're doing is basically leading a side that's not going to win trophies. You need to think about your career. One thing Nasri said before is that I don't want to be a leader of a team that doesn't win trophies, and he was honest in 2012. They said that 8 years ago. So my situation is that do what's best for your career. You owe Arsenal fans nothing. Yeah, there are going to be fans that are going to beg you to stay, but your legacy at the football club is intact as far as I'm concerned. Go and win big trophies. You're not winning them at Arsenal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I won't hate Aubameyang if he goes. I can understand whether it's Madrid or Barca. I totally get it.
I think the attitude with our fans will change. Will be if he goes to like Man United. That might be. Yeah,
I think so. If he stays in England,
but the fact of the matter is that if you look at Man United, they've got a player, a genuine playmaker, Fernandes.
Oh, what a different
and they got a world class goalkeeper. All right, his primary mistakes. They've got a keeper coming from Sheffield United and are waiting. Those two players, maybe Pierre Emerick, can be everything that Alexis Sanchez wasn't. So if he wins trophies at Man United, fine. I don't care. I really don't care. At this stage, I'm only interested in Arsenal's development. You know, and if Pierre doesn't want to be part of it, then good. Go and win your trophy somewhere else. Wish you the best, and I'll still hold you in the highest end. But just let's be honest, all right?
Agreed.
We're Arsenal fans, but we're football fans as well. Let's not stand in the way of an ambitious footballer.
Yeah, that's true, Kenny. I mean, you can't. And also, talking about Henderson, I think he's been the best goalkeeper this year on current form. And he's had a lot of character because that massive mistake he made against Liverpool, he's shown a lot of character to come back from that. He could have easily buckled under, and he looks like he could take over from De Gea in the next year.
Well, I think the temptation of Man United. Remember, you had the same situation with Courtois. Petr Cech was the established number one at Chelsea. Courtois said he was only going to come back. He was the number one, and Mourinho took him off. And maybe Henderson might want to try and do the same thing. I'm only going to come back number. You know what I mean? The temptations all out there because they don't want to lose someone who they think is going to be a great goalkeeper. But one thing the difference between Petr Cech and De Gea is still a young man, registered young man in terms of life and goalkeeping terms. So he may be behind the sticks at Man United, right? And he's got a better defence now. He's got Harry Maguire. He's got Lindelof, and he's got probably who I think is the best right back in the country, and Wan-Bissaka.
There are Man United fans that have criticised the De Gea this season. I've seen a lot.
Oh yeah. I know a few of them.
Yeah. I know several on YouTube that is very, very critical of him. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, I was just going to quickly give Lee a shout out for sending a bunch of people our way after he wrapped up his show. So thank you, Lee. Bless you, bro. I hope you're well.
You're beating him on FIFA now. I mean, I'm getting a bit annoyed watching that.
I'll rematch him. I'm getting there. Let me get to that level first.
Can I say? Sorry, Chris. I know it's your show, but there's this guy. He's been fantastic to me through thick and thin. He's a Liverpool fan called VP75. He's been he's always picked me up, especially when I went through a difficult period in May when people turned against me and turned their back on me after Baku. He was always on my side. So I just want to say a big up to this guy because I know he's a massive fan of both yourself, chat, Lee, Claude, and you. He watches channel, but he's been he's been a massive support to me. So I just want to big him up.
Yeah, he's a good lad, VP. So big up, VP. Shout out to you. I hope you're well. Everyone that is in the chat, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please do stick a like on this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and share around the show. Let people know we're live. All right. Sorry, Claude. Was there one more point you wanted to make?
No. I think I've made the point. I'm just thinking. We were talking about Aubameyang, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I think the thing about the whole situation in football is that I think obviously we mentioned it but we really, really, really have to be very, very patient of football fans because there's going to be a lot of things that happen in football that we're not going to like. We're not going to like the fact that clubs are going to close their doors. We're not going to like the fact. Thanks, Ryan. How you doing, mate? We're not going to like the fact that there may be reduced capacities. We ain't going to like the fact that everyone, the fact that our tickets may be reduced, but we may not be getting enough football. We may have a situation now like we had. Remember the Super League? The Super League used to start at the same time around the winter, but the Super League now starts in the summer in rugby league because of what we're having with in terms of like coronavirus. If we do get back to normal, we may have a situation where we won't be starting the football in August. We might have to start football in October, late October, like September, in order to keep up the calendar. So football fans have got to make a lot of adjustments.
I'm going to ask our fans, because of this situation, right, with the clubs, would they sacrifice, I know I'm talking about season ticket holders now, would they sacrifice if the club, their money, if the season is voided, would they sacrifice that money so that it helps the club in the long run and write the money off for this season, write the money what is remaining on their season ticket?
Good question, Claude.
Would they sacrifice it if it meant helping the club out?
Well, that's a good. I've got a season ticket. So that's probably a question for myself. Anything that helps Arsenal Football Club, I'm all for. I joke a lot. I joke and I say, I want a refund. But Dave, I bleed Arsenal. I bleed red and white. I will never intentionally put the club into disrepute. If it means if Arsenal Football Club survive and get through, if it means me being locked out and playing behind closed doors, I don't care. Arsenal's survival and Arsenal's future is more important. If any money that if they explain it to me and say, look, this money could pay an Arsenal, this money that we're not going to refund you is going to help keep an Arsenal employee in their job, then I'm all for that. This money can help us buy new players, and I'm all for that. Yeah, Dave, because at the end of the day, Arsenal Football Club's health is more important.
Not everyone's going to think like you, Kenny, are they?
Not at all, not at all. And it's an individual question that you ask everyone, because you've got to realise this. The theme that today is that everyone's got their own support experience as well as their own opinions. But you've asked me, and my theme is whatever benefits Arsenal, then I'm all for. You know what I mean? I'm still going to renew my season ticket in any capacity or any games that we're going to have.
There's 5 home games, isn't it? So if you time that by 40,000 season ticket holders? That's a lot of money because it's 5 home games. So it's a lot of money. I mean,
you've got to realise, right? It's insurance as well. The club, remember, they haven't been insured. No football club. I don't care what anyone says. No business has been insured for this sort of thing.
Even the boxes as well. The boxes those 5 games for the boxes as well. That's a lot of money as well.
That's a lot of money as well. So you've got to think in a bigger picture now. Football clubs are going to take a financial hit, but at the end of the day, that is nothing compared to the bill that they got to pay Sky and BT, and not just Sky and BT. They've got to pay a bill to NBC, Star Sports in Africa, Fox Sport in Australia. The CE, NBC in Canada. They've got to pay all these people back. That's a bill. So it's in their best interest to play behind closed doors.
This is why I have sympathy, because I hear a lot of people, so what? It's all about money. It's all about, but what about people's lives? But these people, it's all right. As I said before, I said it on other podcasts before. It's all right if you ain't got a pot to piss in, and it's not and you haven't built them businesses up, and all them businesses around the stadium that are losing their money, right? They go into bankruptcy, and they lose all their money, which causes them to be depressed. It's all right for all that, isn't it? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You've got to have sympathy on that as well.
Exactly.
Because these people have worked hard to get in these to build these companies up and like Sky and all that. They've worked hard.
And they're not insured, Claude. They're not insured as well. Another thing.
So it's and also before people say, these people are giving the people the jobs, and without these rich people, there's no jobs about either.
Exactly.
Sometimes we don't think.
Another thing as well. The suicide rate always goes up when there's situations when there's austerity, mental health problems, and financial problems. There are going to be a lot of people are going to be suicidal when we come out of this. To the extent that do not be surprised if people do take their own lives over this situation because they have no money and they have no businesses. You know what I mean?
It's all right saying, it's our Sky got all that money. Then who cares? But look at the jobs that they give people. People that work from that, they're losing all their jobs. All these people. These people, everyone goes back. Why should we care about them? They're putting you into work. They're putting people into work. But people don't listen. They don't think about it. It's such a selfish attitude.
But you know what it is, Claude? Some people can't see past their own nose. They think that they actually generally believe that everything they have in front of them it grows on trees. They don't know. They don't understand the domino effect. Like, I'm no economist, but it doesn't take an outsider on myself in terms of an economist to know that no business has been insured, which means if you're not insured, you lose your money because they can't. Because at the end of the day, if you can't pay people back, which means you have a thing. Our taxes are going to go up. You may have situations upon myself, me and my wife work in the public sector. We could be made redundant because, again, the money has to be found somewhere. So I could lose my job. Chris, you work in you must work in a public sector,
and you've got kids to support. You know what I'm saying?
We could lose our jobs. We can all lose our jobs.
And if you lose your jobs, you've got kids to support as well. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. It's hot. Don't matter. I mean, of course, yeah. It's very sad people are dying, and I already mean that, and it breaks my heart. I've got my uncle in Italy that's recovering from this corona, the virus. I shouldn't say. I'm not allowed to, but you know what I'm saying. And that what hurts more than anything. And I just feel sometimes when people say, they're worried about his money. Well, his money. Well, that money is keeping people like you in work. Remember that.
Exactly. And that money that Rishi Sunak is promised, that money will have to be paid back. That money is borrowed money. That is not money out of treasury. Sunak is borrowing that money out of the which means everyone's going to get the knock-on effect. Even football's going to be part of this. So I think what's happening is that we need to show a bit of empathy for the whole situation. It's easy to just say, David, it's always doing. And remember, you've got to remember one thing as well. Football gets a lot of people out of their front rooms. It gets a lot of lonely people out there to communicate with their friends and make new friends. Go to the club, go to the pub, communicate with people. Gyms are where people don't go to train. They go there to communicate. Go there to meet people and make new friends, because some people are lonely out there. I worry about those who are on their own. I'm worried sick about them, because yes, we're keeping safe, but the fact of the matter is that where we're curing ourselves physically, we're also worried about our mental states as well.
Yeah, it's horrible. There's no the whole thing. There's no right or wrong answer to this. Someone's going to get hurt along the way.
Yeah, it's such a difficult situation to manage.
It's just at the end of the day, it's just the hope. We just hope that we recover quicker than what people are saying we're going to recover. But I actually, you know what? I'm not bit. I mean, I know everyone says I'm a very negative person, and they probably are right. But
oh dear! Well, you always make me laugh, so there you go.
But I actually think we could be here this time next year, still looking for the next game. So you don't know what's going to happen. And if that's the case, let it run, and then we could finish this season off next season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think what's happening is that
doing that. If we can't get the next season going by October, then we might as well wait till April.
No, I think Claude, we don't have to do that. If you test all the players and test everyone within the football clubs, then you can play these games behind closed doors. This is the way forward.
Yeah,
and that's the thing, because by waiting for this season to start, we're assuming that we're going to go back to normal, where we're all going to meet. You're going to meet around Finsbury Park, go and walk to the ground or walk to away games. I think we're probably a year away from that, but we're not a year. We're still going to have football, but not the way we need it to be. I.e., going to football games and meeting each other, and I think that's got to be a reality. Because if we do want our football back, then we have to have it with restrictions. We have to have,
Or decide the football season on the pools panel. What about that idea? Pools panel?
Nah, not at all. Look, no, I wouldn't say that.
I'd rather doing that than at least then they can, But no, I agree.
Not at all. No, I think people.
My fault, and I had this on Terry. And Terry put me to bed on this one, because I didn't think of that really, and I should have. My fault was to make the Champions League and the Europa League next season a knockout competition, but he said that we would lose millions.
Too much football. Yeah. The fact matters is that, again, the TV companies the reason why we have a Champions League and we have it in a league situation, because TV advertisers want their money.
Yeah, they're throwing money at these TV companies, aren't they? So.
And advertisers want to see the big clubs. Why do you think that we're going to have an extended Champions League? Because Man United are not in the Champions League regularly, and neither are AC Milan or International Marley. So we're going to have an extended Champions League. The advertisers want to see the best teams in the A clubs in Europe being in it. And if Arsenal want to be part of that, they need to get their asses in it. But I think in the future, but in order to recover the lost money, the Champions League will be extended in order so we can have a likelihood of having Man United in there on a regular basis, and the teams I mentioned, the two Milan clubs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just before we wrap up, I did want to get your opinion on this, and that is the whole thing that Man City believe that Arsenal are responsible for this collusion of 8 teams that have come up with this sudden excuse that Man City should be thrown out of the Champions League. My quick thoughts on it, really and truthfully, is just this. Guys, if you didn't do the crime in the first place, I mean, to me, it's gamesmanship.
My thoughts on this Man City, I don't think you've got nothing to worry about anyway, because the lawyers you've got in could get Stevie Wonder a driving license. So, to be honest with you, I don't think you've got any problems in getting.
Oh, you think it'll be reversed, don't you? Yeah.
Hey?
You think it'll be reversed?
I don't think. I think when it comes to clever lawyers, they'll find loopholes. Don't worry about that.
But question I ask.
Don't get me wrong. I think Man City. I remember. Going back a few years now. I remember this, right? And as soon as and they shit themselves, the FA, they put a 12-point deduction on Spurs, and then Mr. Sugar, right, went to said, "I'm taking you to court." The FA shit themselves. And
but that's the thing with football. It's happened in a lot of sports. Remember, you look at the situation. Again, I'm going back to cricket. Remember when Kerry Packer, like I said, got his own sort of had the super tests. The TCB at the time in 1977 and all the other associations around Australia banned the players and actually tried to ban the players, the English players, from playing county cricket. John Snow, Mike Proctor, and Tony Gregg took the TCB to court, and they won because, again, it may have been against the spirit of cricket what Kerry Packer was doing, but he isn't a law, and Claude's got a right. But the fact of the matter is that the situation is with Man City, how many times have they got to break the rules? Other clubs are stringently following FFP, except for Man City. And it's about time that they were. It's about time because what's the point? Why
Real Madrid have been breaking the law for years.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, but everyone complains about Kroenke. Everyone complains about Kroenke not spending the money, but he is following the FFP, like I said, guidelines. Where and every club's doing it. Even Chelsea are doing it, and Spurs are doing it, and Liverpool are doing it. And to the extent they got their own success. Why should Man City keep on breaking laws? Because remember They got themselves out of a similar situation only about a year ago when like I said, they got the lawyers in and got their own way again. They have to follow the FFP laws that everyone else does.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. What about PSG? Don't you think they're breaking laws? What's the crowds that they get?
I think give it a minute. PSG are going to get pulled up on something.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I think at some point they will get pulled up.
Away with it. I'll tell you why. Because guess who was in charge of UEFA when that was all going on, and who actually put all this in? The Platini. It's amazing how we overlook fucking PSG, isn't it?
Talking to Platini, it was very well intentioned, the sort of all cities European championships, but with the situation we have with coronavirus and the fact that it's next year, I think it needs to be held in about a couple of countries and not all over Europe. You know what I mean?
Another great player that got caught up in the gravy train in the organisation of UEFA. The gravy train. It's all a gravy train.
Trust UEFA. Claude, if it wasn't for the FBI, he would have got away with murder. The FBI were after the head of the USA Football Association on other charges, and they thought, well, hang on, let's delve in a bit deeper, and then that's when they caught them all.
How many years did that Sepp Blatter get away with it? God, yeah, and, eventually they got him in the end. But
well, what about the guy from Trinidad and Tobago? He's got to be the biggest crook of all time.
Well,
I'll never forget that World Cup. Oh, big surprise! Russia, we give it to Russia. Remember that?
They did a good job though last year, mate.
Do me a favour.
oh dear. Well, it is what it is. I kind of, to be honest, whatever Man City deserve, whatever they have coming to them, and if they are able to get away with it, fair play to them. It is what it is.
You know what, Chris? I'd rather get that fourth place on merit. To be honest with you, I'll take it, but it wouldn't feel right for me.
Me too. I've got to admit, whilst I admire Arsenal for doing whatever, allegedly for doing whatever it is they have to do, there will be a little bit of an asterisk of, did we earn this though? Did we earn this place? But like you say, I think it is just doing whatever it is you have to do to get the job done. So if they are coming up with this plan, so be it. But yeah, to me, I think City, especially because my understanding is City really, really bet. I mean, it's not just a case of they didn't balance the books. They damn near committed fraud, from my understanding of their charges.
What is the situation? By the way, enlighten me. What is the situation? Did they actually got the ban, or was it?
Yeah, so they've actually received the ban. What they're doing,
so it's actually now in force, that ban.
Well, so if they appeal it and the court says, so it depends what they want to do. If they say, I'm going to appeal it and the court decides to hear the case next summer, then that means technically they can play next season in the Champions League.
Have they been tried and charged, or have they just been
They've
charged?
officially been tried and charged by UEFA. They are taking the case to appeal.
The verdict was 2-year ban, yeah? So that
was a 2-year ban.
But this appeal, it seems to be taking a long time.
Well, it was supposed to be heard before all of this
judgment.
All of this kind of problems happened. It was supposed to be heard before that. And then it got delayed and then delayed. And now I think they put it off indefinitely until they know what's happening with what's going on at the moment. So, yeah.
So, but what happens next season? I mean, we don't even know whether next season starts. But what happens now if everything goes according to plan and we start the next season and that appeal's not been heard yet? Do they get into the Champions League then until that? I mean, I don't understand. What's that?
To be honest, I don't know. To be honest, honestly, I don't know. It depends when the appeal is heard.
It's a farce, isn't it? And these governing bodies, they're absolutely useless. So disorganised. This should be sorted out. Right. You've got a chance to appeal. 2 months you've got to appeal your case and then get it sorted. Well, what's it dragging on to now? There's no excuse because this virus didn't come. It was a long time ago, but it's not before this virus has only just come out, isn't it, in the last couple of months?
Yeah, but don't you think Man City will wait until probably the end of the season in order to because you're not going to do it now. They still had matches to compete with in the terms of the league. They're still in the FA Cup, in the Champions League. I think their appeal should really be heard in June after the season finished, which I suppose they intend to do. However, as far as we're concerned, the decision was final by UEFA, and Man City were not going to be involved in the tournament moving forward for the next 2 footballing calendar years.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure this virus didn't just appear now. I'm sure this had been a couple of years ago. This virus. Everyone's saying about.
Well, I don't know. The first person I heard was in December.
But I'm sure this is a couple of years old. This virus. Everyone said it suddenly appeared now, but I think this virus is longer than it's been going on for a couple of years. Because I saw someone showed me a video. Someone showed that I'm seeing a video on social media where something in China was in 2018 going on about someone having the actual virus. I can't mention it on here, but the virus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think there are different types of strains of it, and I think this one is particularly deadly for whatever reason. So, I don't.
funny you should say that, and this could go even longer. I remember 2011. I was off ill for about 2 months, where I kept coughing non-stop for 2 months, and I couldn't get out of bed for 2 months. This is a lot of football then. I was in my sick bed watching us get beaten by Bradford City. I remember it was in the league. So it must have been. Was that 2000? What year was that?
It was December. It's December 2012. So it's 2012
right.
2013.
Right.
We missed a lot of football.
I was in with my daughter's place at the time, and I was in bed and I was watching the top of an island. Gervinho miss a sitter. That didn't make me even better. And
Gervinho, leave him alone.
and then, yeah. Do you remember when he came? I'll never forget this. I'm going off subject here. I remember we was in the pub pre-season, and he scored a goal. He scored one of, and everyone was saying, they were saying, Ian, right. Ian, right. I said, you must be. They're all thinking, this is the new Ian Wright. Anyway, believe it or not, before he joined us, he had quite a good success, didn't he? I mean, I don't know what he.
No, I think Eden Hazard still says that Gervinho is the best player he's ever played with when they were both at Lille, and I know Joe Cole has nice things to say about him as well, because all three of them played together.
Maybe Gervinho was handing him envelopes every week. I don't know.
I don't know. He did well in Italy. He did well at Roma. He did well in Italy, though.
But anyway, that was a League Cup, wasn't it?
Yes.
When Cafolo
missed the penalty as well in the penalty shooter.
Yeah. I can't. And that 2000, and I had that for 2 months, and I was out. I missed football. I missed everything. I couldn't get out of bed. And I'm wondering if that's the sort of thing I had. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, these things you don't know where they could be here for years, and we've not known about it too much.
Yeah, I'm with you. Somebody mentioned this in my comments as well. Antonio Black, I remember, and he was like, "Chief, do you remember you had that cough for like 3-4 weeks in January? Do you think?" And I said, "Trust me, it has crossed my mind." And it was around my birthday, and I just kept coughing. I had this horrible sore throat as well, and it just would not go away. And I do wonder sometimes, did I have it? Have I already had it? So
the thing about it, guys, is that we're all going to be tested. We all have to be tested, and for simple reason, in order that the doctors know what's going on, to minimise the infection, we're going to all be tested, and we'll know more about our general health. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's
when are you allowed to be tested? When could you, even if you just have a slight cough, can you go?
Look, the fact of the matter is, this is a plague that is wiping out a lot of people around the world. People, and I generally believe that we have to have a situation where we're all men and women under a certain age have to be tested. Have to be, because we can't go through this again. Our mental health can't take it, and the economy can't take people being caged in, because we are. So get everyone tested. Doesn't that take how long it is? Start slowly, but eventually that has to be your aim within a year to ensure that we're all tested.
There's a lot of people, and I mean, I don't believe it, but there's a lot of people think that you're getting people now saying that is Boris really ill? Is it done on purpose to?
Well, it's
crossed my mind.
Yeah, but it's plausible. If you're in a situation where you're meeting loads of people, like Prince Charles is as well, you are at risk where you are.
That is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, he's only a human being like the rest of us, and this is why I get surprised when people say, "Oh, shock horror," because it's happened to Boris. He's a human being like the rest of us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah, and it's probably difficult for him to practice social distancing in his job, especially when he's got to have like Secret Service to like protect him.
He likes going on that push bike as well, doesn't he? He does like going on that push bike, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know. He did that this time. Anyway, it was when he was mayor. He had the push bike.
Hey?
It was when he was mayor. Had the push bike.
Years ago, before he was prime minister, I seen him always on his push bike around Grazing Road.
He said, "Well, Boris lived in Holloway Road, so I see him when he was jogging.
He lived in North London."
And exactly.
When I was a cabin at the time, I used to see him on his push bike around Grazing Road, around there.
Both Jeremy and Boris are actually lovely, amiable men, and I don't begrudge them at all. But it's one of those things where we should listen to Boris.
They're all mates. Off all that, they're all mates. They're all mates.
Of course, they both understand the situation. They both got pressures of leading people and having to think for thousands and millions of people. So
when they're going in the House of Commons at each other, they're all mates.
Guys, I'm gonna have to sort of
I'm wrapping up anyway. But thank you to everyone that has watched. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please do
another
subscribe.
Can I just say one thing? Even I am Mr. the Gym. VP, I'd love to be Prime Minister.
There you go. And what I'm going to do, I haven't had a chance to do it yet because I was having some technical issues, but I'll put all their socials to their Twitter.
I don't want Kenny as Prime Minister. I'll tell you why, because we won't have football at Christmas if he was.
Well, thank God for that.
Well, I'm not having him as Prime Minister. Sorry, Kenny, no way, because you'll stop my lovely traditional Boxing Day games. And I'm not having it, Kenny.
Claude, there's going to be a time when you won't be able to get those Boxing Day games, and you'll be begging.
Well, at the moment, Boxing Day that looks off at the moment.
But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys are well. I'll put their socials in below. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please do hit that like if you've enjoyed the show. And we're going to get up out of here. So take care, guys. Take care, everyone in the chat. Please.